Hello trainees, welcome to Commercial Studies Division, Bahrain Training Institute. I am Dr. Satya Pavan Kumar, your trainer for Business Economics. Welcome to Week 4 Session 1. We are going to discuss the concept of demand from Learning Outcome 2. Demand: if you demand something, then you want it, can afford it and plan to buy it. Demand reflects a decision about which wants to satisfy. The quantity demanded of a good or service is the amount that consumers plan to buy during a given time period at a particular price. Demand is defined as the different quantities of goods or services that consumers are willing and able to buy at different prices within a given time period. Demand is an expression of consumers' plans or intentions to buy, an offer to buy, and not a statement of actual purchase. So now you understand the meaning of demand. We will move to law of demand. What is law of demand? Any guess? When the price of a good rises, the quantity demanded will fall. Other things remaining the same, the higher the price of a good, the smaller is the quantity demanded, and the lower the price of a good, the greater is the quantity demanded. Now see this relationship demand schedule. A demand schedule lists the quantities demanded at each price, when all the other influences on consumers' planned purchases remain the same. Demand curve. A demand curve is a graphical depiction of the law of demand, plotting price on the vertical axis and quantity demanded on the horizontal axis. A demand curve shows the relationship between the quantity demanded of a good and its price when all other influences on consumers' planned purchases remain the same. Demand curve is downward sloping because desired quantity demanded falls when price increases. What do you mean by individual demand and market demand? Now let us try to understand individual demand and market demand. Individual demand is the quantity demanded by one consumer at a given price. Market demand is the sum of the demands of all the buyers in a market. The market demand curve is the horizontal sum of the demand curves of all buyers in the market. These graphs show individual demand and market demand as you understood the demand concept. Now time to think what makes the demand to change. Change in demand: it is a change in the quantity that people plan to buy when any influence other than the price of the good changes. A change in demand means that there is a new demand schedule and a new demand curve. 1. When demand decreases, the demand curve shifts leftward from D0 to D1. 2. When demand increases, the demand curve shifts rightward from D0 to D2. Shift in demand curve. Shift in demand curve. Due to different factors, the demand curve will move right or left depending on increase or decrease in demand. A rise in income increases the demand for products and services. For example, more energy bars will be bought when more money is available. The demand curve shifts rightward, as shown by the shift arrow and the resulting D2. What makes the demand curve to change? These are called determinants of demand. Examples of determinants of demand: income, prices of substitutes, prices of complements, advertising, population, consumer expectations. A change in the quantity demanded versus a change in demand. Changes in the influences on buying plans bring either a change in the quantity demanded or a change in demand. Equivalently, they bring either a movement along the demand curve or a shift of the demand curve. The distinction between a change in the quantity demanded and a change in demand is the same as that between a movement along the demand curve and a shift of the demand curve. A point on the demand curve shows the quantity demanded at a given price, so a movement along the demand curve shows a change in the quantity demanded. The entire demand curve shows demand, so a shift of the demand curve shows a change in demand. Thanks for listening. Now open your handout and read the same concepts. If you have any doubts, pose your questions in discussion forum. Complete the online quiz available in Moodle, finish the homework activity as well.